Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Juju Phillips, and this is Bears Talk Live. Welcome again, week number 9 of the season on our 9th program here at Bears Talk Live, and we have a jam-packed show ready to go for you. Thank you for watching tonight. We have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 special guests with us tonight as we talk soccer, we talk football, we talk Lenoir-Rhyne athletics, and we talk men's basketball, all coming up in the next 30 minutes. We want to kick it off, as we always do, starting with the football team right now. The Bears last week traveling for the first time ever to UNC Pembroke to take on the Braves. Only the second time these two schools have ever met. First time they'd met at Pembroke, and it was the Braves that came back in the fourth quarter and knocked off the Bears in another close game, 14-10. Coach Mike Kellar, coach, another close loss. And I guess the big thing that come out of that game when you talk about, I don't want to say moral victories, but this team is playing a lot of close, more competitive games.
Well, I mean, if I graded it from a season ago or you know, where we were at a year ago with it, I mean, you know, we've got some losses that we're disappointed in, and 2 in particular this week, and the Mars Hill game. But both those games were games a year ago that we were blowing out in those games, and we felt like we should have or could have definitely won the Mars Hill game, and we felt like this past Saturday, I don't want to say we let one get away because that's taken away from Pembroke and some of the things that they did really well, but I do think that was a game that we would definitely as a program love to have back.
What's been the message coming out of that game and heading into this game this coming week? What's been the message this week to the team?
I think your message is always the same, is each game's its own entity. You know, the worst thing you could do in preparation for your upcoming game is to dwell on what happened last week. You have to go through the tape. You have to make the corrections. The thing that I always tell our team and anyone who really wants to listen is your problems are your problems, your strengths are your strengths, your weaknesses are your weaknesses, and you have to learn from those from week to week and try to do the best during the week to correct and fix those, and then during the next week's game try to play to those strengths.
I want to start defensively. The last couple of games, the Bears have given up, I think, 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. That's something to build off defensively, isn't it?
Well, our number one priority this offseason was to try to build a defense. You know, when we came here, we knew we were coming from the triple. You know, common sense told us, our pride didn't tell us, and our confidence didn't tell us, but common sense told us that it may take a little longer, you know, to build a top-notch offense. You know, a year ago, we really weren't a very good defensive football team. This offseason, I mean, I give the defensive staff credit. They really studied and did a lot of things to develop. And we got some guys, you know, Kyle and some of those guys came back healthy, and we were able to recruit. And a lot of the kids we played last year really improved. In the beginning of the year, you didn't see it, you know, so much in West Alabama and at Mars Hill. We felt like we were a better defensive football team than that. You saw us kind of come and go. But the last 3 or 4 weeks, they've settled in and have played some good defense, and with Carson Newman this week and Catawba a week from now, they're going to have to continue to play good defense.
Offensively, the Bears struggled a bit in terms of putting the yardage together. I want to talk about Chase Albaugh. Chase kicked a 54-yard field goal, and you were down on the sidelines, and the way the wind was blowing, it probably could have went 70. Yeah. And that was the second longest field goal in LR history.
I saw that you knew what the longest one was. Yeah. Yeah. And we had we started the game off right. We had the wind to our back. We deferred, kicked the ball deep. Jefferson Norwood, a freshman kicker, pinned them deep. Our defense goes out, holds them. They kick the ball to us. We run a bootleg the first play, hit TJ on a big crosser for about a 25-yard gain. They face mask, so it was an even bigger play. The next play is a called run, and you know, we pick the ball up and we throw the ball out to TJ, and we get an 11-yard gain, and now you're off and running. Get the ball at midfield, was able to grind out a few more yards. And the guys in the booth, when I said field goal, they thought that the wind, you know, something hit me in the head to call field goal from there. But I've been watching Chase kick all season, and I watched him during the week, and I knew we had the wind at our back, and I had confidence in our ability to protect it and snap, hold, kick. And the kid, you know, is a true freshman, and went in and put it right through the pipes. And you're right, it probably would have been good from another 10, 12 yards anyway.
I don't like to talk about, you know, turning points in football games and possessions, but at times this year in some games it has come down to one possession. I thought one of the important parts of that game is when the Bears got the lead, they got the ball back, I guess, maybe the next possession or so near midfield, and we're not able to capitalize on the field position. Had you been able to, you might have been able to stretch out your lead.
The drive that cost us the ball game is that drive right there. I mean, it was really It was we ran a stretch play to the left, the last play of the third quarter, and gained like 14 yards and had the ball around their 30, 35-yard line. The next play, we ran a very similar play to the right, and you give Pembroke credit. I mean, they pushed us back a little bit, got some things going on the perimeter. There was actually an option to throw the pass. It was a little bit of a trick play, kind of what they did against us, and we lost like 8-9 yards on the play. The next play, we ran a naked, and they blitzed the corner. Perfect call on their part, and now you're in third and long yardage, and we throw a bubble screen for a few yards, and then fourth down we got a 4th and 19, and we were going into the win at this point because I thought about the field goal, and I thought, man, the way our defense is playing, I don't want to try a long field goal into the win, maybe get something blocked, and then they score that way. So, we tried to do something, and Jaquay had the ball in his hands, on the 4th and 19, and it would have been an amazing catch. But we were right there. If we come down with that, then we got the ball 1st and goal. We probably go in and score and win the football game.
When you look at a young football team, and that is what the Bears are, is there a process where a team grows into knowing how to win close games?
Sure. I mean, I think back, when I first went to California, the second year there, they were a 3-7 football team, and the next year we were a 6-4 team, and then we were league champs 7 straight years. And I could remember plain as day losing those games. And a lot of times we lost the game, we weren't good enough to win quite yet, and it was part of our maturation process. Not enough practices, not enough weightlifting sessions, not enough recruiting, not enough growing up yet to really understand how to win. And it's the shame of it is every time we do something, it's the first time. The first time we had to go on the road after a bye week, first time we stayed the night, first time this year we were looking at the Carson Newman tape. A lot of the kids that we played last year in that game, they're not here now, so it's their first time going through this prep week. And just it seems like everything we do is a first.
Let's switch now to Carson Newman. The Bears return home this week to take on, for Senior Day, the final home game of the 2017 season, taking on a Carson Newman team. Last week, the Eagles defeated Tusculum, winning that game 27-7. I thought it was interesting and very impressive. Their 35th winning season in the last 38 years for Carson Newman. What kind of challenges and or opportunities does this team present to you as you come in?
Carson Newman's the total flip side of us. They have been running the same scheme with the same coaches, the same way for 30, 40 years. There's nothing we could do to them defensively they haven't saw a million times. Us, I've got a group of 5 seniors. I think we're going to have like 9 or 10 kids walk because they're juniors that are going to graduate. Some of those kids are on their 3rd head coach, 3rd or 4th system. And Carson Newman they have that stability. And they're a very good defensive football team. I think they're 1st or 2nd in our league. Them and Catawba are the top 2 defenses in the league right now. They run the football, extremely well. They got a lot of talent on the outside one-on-ones. And, just as they'll lull you to sleep, man, running the veer, then they pull that thing out of there and they throw a seam or a post or a go, and the guys they're throwing it to are guys that could take it and go all the way with it. So there's a lot of challenges this week.
When the Bears have had a chance, and I think they've won 3 in a row against Carson Newman, the longest they've ever had, or at least in quite a long time. So they seem to have right now the Eagles' number. But when you look at the team coming in, I was shocked last week. They won that game 27-7, had a bunch of turnovers, and did not complete a pass.
It was a downpour. It was a little bit like our Newberry game here. For homecoming? I mean, I think they had like 6 fumbles, and Tusculum fumbled it and turned it over a bunch. And I mean, just watching the tape, because on the video you can't really see how bad it's raining, and then you read about it, and I think the weather got both those teams a little bit.
What about not playing a senior game coming up this week and then going against a Catawba team after that that's a big-time rival? Again, I think I talked to you about the message for the team. What do you think is going to have to be their focus for the Bears to win this game starting this week?
It's really, we got like 9 kids walking, I believe 9 or 10. 4 or 5 of those guys are actually juniors who are graduating ahead of time, ahead of their eligibility being up. So they're going to go ahead and walk. And then we got 5 kids that are true seniors, and it'll be truly their last game. And 2 of them are hurt and out for the year. So we're really only dressing 3 seniors, for their senior day. So it's kind of been senior week. Carson Newman game means a lot to them. They've been through some battles with Carson Newman. You talked about the 2013 and 14, playing them in the playoffs and all that. So we've really looked at those kids this week, and they've done a good job. And I hope that our underclassmen, because, when you're a freshman, you think being a senior is like 100 years away, and then you blink and it's there. So I'm hoping our underclassmen appreciate how quickly 4 years can go by.
Coach, as always, good luck and thank you.
Thank you, Juju.
All right, head coach Mike Kellar with the football Bears. Kickoff is set for 2 o'clock, and we're on the air 1:30 with the stream as well as the radio as well, right here on LRBears.com. We have a special guest joining us now as we're going to flip the script. We're going to talk with the 12th president of Lenoir-Rhyne, is Dr. Fred Whitt, who makes a special guest appearance with us. Dr. Whitt, as always, welcome and thank you for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
You were down at the game last week, and I noticed you were up in the press box with us, and nice air-conditioned, but you were down on the sidelines in the second half. You are a fan at heart, aren't you?
Absolutely. I love it, and want to be there to support all our sports. Enjoyed the basketball game Sunday, the football game Saturday. Saw a little bit of volleyball last night and some soccer last night as well. So I think it means a lot to the kids to see they have our support, and we want to continue to do that as much as we can.
Where did your love for sports begin?
Probably with my father. He was a pretty good athlete, baseball and basketball, and I just grew up loving it from the time I could walk. And I remember being about 5, 6 years old at the beach, and all I did was go around and kind of mimic throwing. And remember one time a group of ladies came by and all ducked. They thought I had a ball in my hand, but I was just trying to learn how to throw. But I played as many sports. Back then, probably like you just played everything all year round. Whatever sport was in season was your favorite sport.
Now, I've heard you speak to a couple of high schools, and you speak publicly. What do you tell the people when you do speak publicly about Lenoir-Rhyne and Lenoir-Rhyne athletics?
Well, I tell you, it's pretty easy to talk about Lenoir-Rhyne. I think it's, we saw in the headlines of the paper, we woke the bear with our basketball upset of Citadel. And I think that's what we want to do. Lenoir-Rhyne, to me, is on the verge of something really special. And I think we got great academic programs, great faculty. We're in a great location. Compared to a lot of private schools, we're in really good shape financially. We've had growth in enrollment 9 years in a row, and I don't think you'll get a better education anywhere. And particularly at the undergraduate level, we got growth in our graduate programs, and I think we've just got to tell our story. And in terms of Lenoir-Rhyne athletics, in terms of our music program, in terms of our academic programs, our drama program, to me, our goal is to try to take Lenoir-Rhyne University to a higher level of excellence in everything we do.
When you talk about athletics, and we talked about it on the radio when you joined us earlier this year in terms of facilities, what would you like to see? I mean, what is I don't want to call it a dream, because you write down your dreams, they become goals. What are your goals for the athletic facilities in terms of what you see from some of the other schools in the South Atlantic Conference?
Yeah, I think we got to get better. I've seen some a lot better. I've seen some worse. But I think what we got to do is provide the support, the resources, and give our student athletes and all our students at Lenoir-Rhyne the opportunity for those to be the best 4 years of their young adult lives. And we need to do some work. We're going to go to work a little bit on Shuford Gym. We've got plans to get it air conditioned here over the next month. We're working on a project to look at maybe redoing the floor, the seating, and to do the practice facility. We'd like to do some things in the press box area of the football stadium. We need to get some locker rooms out in the what we call the field house area out for our outdoor sports, and get some bleachers on the soccer field. My dream would be to work with the city, and we've had some preliminary conversations to see if we couldn't do like a new convocation center and have an arena, if you will, that can not only be used for our basketball and volleyball programs, but also could be used for concerts and other venues throughout the area. And I think our students really need a really first class, what I would call a student activity center, a recreation type center, where we can provide them an opportunity to engage with each other. They're real hungry for that, and a lot we can do. It's like eating an elephant. You just take it one bite at a time. And I think you've seen some little bit of improvements in the quad and some things we're trying to do with signage, and we spent a little money there, and we're We did some work in the Cromer Center. You know, we're cutting the ribbon on 5 different facilities this fall, or upgraded facilities, and so we're going to give it the attention it needs.
Great story to tell, Lenoir-Rhyne, indeed. I can't let you go. I know you're a big baseball guy. Who are you picking in the World Series tonight, Game 7?
You know, that's pretty tough. I've really enjoyed it. That's probably why I got bags under my eyes. I've been staying up to about 2 a.m. watching these games. It's one of the best World Series I can remember in a long time. You know, in the 60s as a little boy, I was probably more of a Dodger fan when it was the Dodgers and the Yankees. But right now I'm just enjoying really good baseball. It's kind of nice not to really pull for any one team, but just to look at good pitching, good hitting, the strategy, a lot of the defense. It's just really exceptional. There's nothing like a Game 7.
No, absolutely. National League or American League fan?
Probably National League. In fact, as I watch them, it's still hard for me to think of the Houston Astros as an American League team. So to me, it's like watching. You got the 2 best teams in baseball, both over 100 wins, and I don't think it could get any better than that. So they would probably like not to have the designated hitter, though.
Yeah. Especially some of the way the relief pitching has been. But as always, thank you so much.
Hope
to see you Saturday.
I'll be there Saturday. Hope to stop by and visit with you.
All right. That is Dr. Fred Whitt, 12th president of Lenoir-Rhyne University. Give him a hand again. We have another great crowd here joining us here tonight, and we're going to switch and turn to our next special guest, Coach Sullivan, men's basketball. Talk about timing. Man-oh-man opening up with an exhibition game against Southern Conference foe, the Citadel. The Bulldogs came to Hickory on Sunday, and the Bears came away with a big win. First time that I can recall ever, and you maybe go back to the history books in the 50s when Lenoir-Rhyne played. I think they played North Carolina at the old Foundation Center in Hickory. May have won a game there in overtime. The women played an exhibition game back against Carolina back in 1981. I don't think they recorded that, but I did talk to the coach at that time and some of their players, and they kept score, and they beat Carolina back in 1981. But Sunday's victory, congratulations, knocking off the Citadel.
Thanks, Juju. It felt good, not just to win the game. I think it felt good because we won the game, and we also did some things in terms of helping hurricane relief victims and those who had been impacted excuse me, by the hurricane. So we're excited about getting 2 for 1, per se. You know, we keep talking about our opportunities are going to come, take advantage of it, but we're also able to get the people of Hickory and the community to come out and support the game, and they also got a chance to see a great game, and we came out victorious on top of that. So we're excited about it, and we're going to continue to try to take those next steps to improve every day.
Let's talk about that game. I saw a little bit of it. You guys were down in double digits. The Bears were late in the first half, and seemed like the second half you were the stronger team. What happened?
Well, it was basically our first tune-up game of the year. So we got 9 new guys, 4 transfers, 5 freshmen, 1 young player that didn't get a chance to play last year, DK Simmons. And, you know, when you put those guys out there, you don't know what to expect as a coach. So I'm nervous. I'm sitting over there. I don't know what's going on. Our staff is nervous. We got to come up with a starting lineup. I don't want to make anybody mad because everybody, you know, knows we've only had a short time to practice. But what I told them, just compete, play hard, play with a chip on your shoulder, and just play every possession like it's your last possession. And don't worry about the X and O's. That'll get the nerves out. Playing hard will get the nerves out, and I think after we settled down in the first half and went to the second half, we're able to play to our strengths and make some shots and get some defensive stops.
You notice if you look at a box score that the team that outshoots, out-rebounds, points in the paint, you all controlled all of that, and the balance that you probably wanted and talked about, 5 players in double figures, all those things were in the Bears' favor. Talk about that.
Well, you know, we've been notorious for being a great three-point shooting team. I think even before I got here, Lenoir-Rhyne has been known to be very good offensively. But what I knew that we had to add to the mix, add to our bag, was the ability to defend and rebound the basketball. I think that's going to keep you in every game. The offense will go. Some nights you won't be able to shoot the ball the way you expect to, although you always want to and you want to maintain your confidence. But the defense and the rebound is what travels with you. So we've worked on that for almost a month now, and we just said, hey, we're going to stick to our matchup zone. We're going to token press them a little bit, And we didn't know what Citadel was going to do. We had no idea how they were going to play. They played differently in the end of the year compared to the way they played in the beginning of the year. I mean, they gave up the jump ball just to trap us. They didn't even try to get the jump ball. So they just, they play a different style. Took us a while to get adjusted to it.
The 5 players in double figures, and the buzz was the player from Cameroon, Bertrand Awana, that led the way with 20 points, had a double-double, 20 points and 13 rebounds. Talk about his story and how he came to Lenoir-Rhyne, and what you thought about his first performance.
Bertrand, we all call him by his last name, Awana. I think some people think Awana is his first name and Bertrand is his last name, but Awana is, he's a special athlete. He's a good player, but I think what makes our team a little bit different is the balance you talked about. And I think having perimeter players like Billy Bales, Jarvis Calhoun, and Reed Lucas, with the addition of inside presence, gives us balance, which makes us very hard to guard. But, we did a great job. I got to give a lot of credit to my staff. They did an unbelievable job on the recruiting trail. They went out, and after the season was over, we were right back in the cars on the road trying to bring in the talent that we needed to play in a very tough South Atlantic Conference. I mean, this conference, the top teams are just as good as SoCon teams. And on any given night, you're going to go up against a team that's very strong. So we knew what we had to get. It was just a matter of trying to find 1 or 2 difference makers to go with the pieces that we had. And Awana's that guy. I think his athleticism, his ability to play and compete at a high level, get rebounds above the rim and finish in the paint gives us another dimension.
What do you know, and I know it's so early, what do you know about this basketball team now after one game that you didn't know going in?
Well, I know that they're going to compete every night. I know they like each other. They play for each other. They all take accountability for, what happens out there on the floor. They hold each other accountable. And I think they're playing for the right reasons. And the right reason is they want to win, but they understand they're going to only get to that point by working hard on a daily basis. And we talk about it. Don't worry about winning a championship. Just worry about winning today, being the best that you can be today, and competing at a high level.
A little bit about what Coach Keller has talked about, some of the other coaches, the process. Get used to the process and work the process. Everything else works out. What's up next for you guys? The schedule doesn't really start for another few days. Talk about that, if you would, for the next few minutes.
Well, we're going to continue to practice. We took a day off. Got the guys that wanted to get them caught up to date with the academic piece and, doing class work and school work and just resting their legs because we have been going hard. So I think that moving forward, we got to figure out what's going to be the most, because you can't get it all in at once. So let's continue to work on our press. Let's continue to work on our defense. Let's X and O-wise offensively figure out where our shots are going to come from and who are going to take them. We don't talk much about roles because I don't want to put guys in a box, but I'm judging them, and I'm coming up with who can do what on a daily basis. So we have a scrimmage, close scrimmage coming up, and we're going to get ready for that UNC Pembroke and Francis Marion game on the 10th and 11th.
Coach, continue good luck. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to talking to you down the road very soon.
Thank you.
Give a hand to head coach Everick Sullivan of the Bears. And we're going to wind up our program with our 4th special guest, head coach Jack Winter of the men's soccer program. Coach, if you would come on up and give him a hand. Our crowd, again, wonderful crowd here at American Honor Ale House, the home of Bears Talk Live, for show number 9. This is the time of the year, and I remember an old coach a few years ago say, you remember November. And for the soccer team, you got some things ahead of you. Rather than looking behind, the Bears finished the regular season, lost in the first round of the conference tournament, I guess, last night. But talk about what lies ahead for this program. You guys have some bigger and better goals looking forward, right?
Yeah, well, this is all planned. We wanted to lose last night, so we got a week of preparation for the NCAA. No, it's been a great season so far. The team's been playing fantastically well. Over the last 9 games, I think we're unbeaten besides the last game. And then we started to play some very, very good football at the right time. So we have the show on Monday night to see where we're going to be in the rankings. At the moment, we're ranked 2nd in the region. So hopefully we stay in and around 4 or 5 without playing the conference tournament this weekend. And then we'll have a game next Friday or Sunday.
9-3-3 in the regular season. Some big awards today for one of your players. Talk about that.
Yeah, Nacho Goya got Player of the Season, Player of the Year, Conference Player of the Year. Hell of a player. Very special, unique. individual. He can play a number of positions. He's been very effective for us this year. But not only that, we've also named 6 in the all-conference selection. So some very good players this year, and I give a lot of credit to our assistant coaches who've done a great job recruiting. Hector Rivas, particularly, who has our European market, so to speak, has brought in some not only talented players but great individuals, great people.
You talked about the postseason starting on Monday with a selection show at 6 o'clock. What's that process like? You have to wait. You just talk about how they go about who gets a spot or who qualifies for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, so the selection show will be about 6 o'clock on Monday night. The process is very complicated for the NCAA. So they take into account your regular season and regional games. They look at strength of schedule. They look at wins and losses. They look at playing away from home. So loads of different scenarios are taken into account. And currently, because of our record and our strength of schedule, playing some of the toughest teams in the region has given us that second spot in the region. But unfortunately, because of last night, it's going to be difficult for us to now host the NCAA tournament, which we thought we would have previously. But we should still remain, 4, 5, or 6. But this year we have automatic qualifiers, which throws another spanner in the works because, any outside wild cards can get to the final of the conference tournament, win the whole thing, and then get an NCAA bid. So we hope that doesn't happen. We hope that it remains the same. The favorites win the conference tournament, and we remain ranked when it comes to the selection show.
Does it help? You made the playoffs last year, made it to the second round. Does that help, you think?
Yes, absolutely. We know what to expect when we get to that situation. We have the preparation from last year, so the maturity and the professionalism and the experience is definitely going to help.
So what is the silver lining? You mentioned jokingly at the beginning, though, you have some time to prepare right now. What can come out of that could be good as you prepare for that? Can it be something, a teachable moment, so to speak?
Yeah, you'd be surprised at how many scenarios actually play out for those who miss the tournament selection becoming the favourites to win the whole thing. Because I think in my year that we won it at Lynn University, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals. Wingate last year got knocked out in the quarterfinals. The year before, in our previous year at Lenoir-Rhyne, we got knocked out in the quarterfinals and ended up having a superb performance that Friday. You got to think conference tournament means you're playing Tuesday, Friday, Sunday, and then turning around and playing Friday, Sunday. So we will now have 9 days of preparation time and rest period to analyse, prepare the team to play what should be a tired team by the time we get to Friday. So there's a lot of things in our favour.
Coach, thanks for joining us. Second time you joined us on Bears Talk Live, and hopefully you can come back, talk about a couple of wins in the NCAA tournament.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Head Coach Jack Winter, and there you have it, folks. Another Bears Talk Live show. Hang on, stay with us. We're still on camera. I don't want you to walk. I'm just kidding. We want to thank all of you guys out there tonight showing up and being with us, a part of the program. We're here each and every Wednesday night through the football season here at the American Honor Ale House in Hickory, right near Lenoir-Rhyne off Holler Mill right here. And we'll join you again next Wednesday starting at 7 o'clock. Don't forget, this weekend, busy weekend, especially for Senior Day in football, kicks off at 2 o'clock between the bricks at Moretz Stadium. For all of our special guests and our crowd here, thank you for watching. And until next week, so long, everyone. This has been Bears Talk Live. Good night.